right, should we get started? What do we think? David, you ready for round three?
I am ready for. We are on a roll. I don't know if people are aware, but they are the only walk number three in this entire process. So they are special. Three is a magic number. Three is going to come up a lot in this session. You're number three. Let's see you wave, number three. Let's see. And even let's see you wave. Even if you're not got your cameras on, we'll know whether you're waving. Ashley. Kay, are you waving? Kathleen Dreyer, Jorge, well, we know Jorge's there. Simona, Heather, Jennifer, Aria, Jenny, Aliona, wonderful that you're here. We feel the wave. Dariel, we feel the wave. Daniel, I know Daniel. Daniel is an old friend, an old Street Wisdom friend. Great you're here, Daniel.
All right, let's kick this off. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. But theoretically, we're celebrating mornings. My name is Tina Roth-Eisenberg. I'm the founder of Creative Mornings and your New York City chapter host. And it is my absolute great pleasure to welcome you to the Worldwide Wonder. It's a 24-hour relay of celebrating mornings around the world, celebrating creativity, together with the fine, remarkable people of Street Wisdom. And I am welcoming you from Brooklyn. I know that my co-anchor David is in London. And we're both really grateful that you made time for us today. We're all super busy, and just having people, take an hour and a half out of their day means a lot to us. So we will make sure it will be worth your time. And just for a little bit of context, I started Creative Mornings in New York City 14 years ago exactly, because I wanted to find my people. I'm a designer by trade, and I was like, where are my kind, creative, curious people here in New York City, because I moved here from Switzerland, and I found them. And I found them not only here, but we actually found them all over the world. We are an organization now that is putting on events every month in 67 countries and 224 cities. And because of our scale, we also get to collaborate with wonderful organizations like Street Wisdom. So when David came to me and asked if we wanted to do this, it was a clear yes. David?
Yeah. It's funny how, I think we have been like sister organizations working in two valleys where there's a mountain in between. For 10 years, Street Wisdom, I'm the founder of Street Wisdom. And for 10 years, we've been offering these free workshops around the world. And it's all about creativity and about finding creativity wherever you are, whenever you are. So when we met you, it was like peering over the top of the mountain going, oh, you're here. And what was so great was to find a project that we both had passion for, which is this Worldwide Wonder. The idea of linking up our communities in a daisy chain of wonderfulness was part of it. But also at this time when the globe, the planet could do with more creativity, we feel like it's people like us, to be honest, people like you, I should say, people like you who need to be exercising. We all need to be exercising our imagination, looking for better ways to live, to think, to do, to be. And so this today is both for us individually and collectively. It's partly why we're recording it, is because it's like a collective archive of your imagination. And it's partly why at the end we'll ask you if you can share your story on the website, because the more we share, the more richness there is.
I agree. And also, to be honest, I honestly feel like this event is a lot about coming into just being really present. I feel like that's the gift you're giving us, David. You're making us extremely present. And as I keep saying, I feel like you're pulling out antennas out of our heads that we didn't know existed. But first off, before we forget, we want to say hello to the people on YouTube. It doesn't matter if you're on our actual Zoom. We're also super happy if you tune in on YouTube, and if you want to put in comments, if you have questions, they get funneled back to us and the team will respond. So no matter where you're tuning in from, we're happy you're here. And in case you just came in a little later, you are at the Worldwide Wonder. We have 24 hours of celebrating creativity in mornings. We have 16 total events. This is our third one. Did I get that right? I'm going to lose track, David.
Totally.
Three. We started this morning at 8:30 New York City time. And for the next 20 plus hours, we're going to go westward around the world.
And I'm putting on my pajamas, because just to remind myself that whatever time we are in London, it's morning out there somewhere in the world. The sun
Somewhere.
is rising on the globe and lots of creative people. So fantastic.
If the world is like waking up where you are right now, put something in the chat and remind us where you are and where it's actually morning.
Yeah, that's great.
So, but before we get going with the workshop, which is like the core of this event, we have a message from a special guest. We're excited to share a video from Gaia, a mural artist. Gaia grew up in New York City, and his work has been exhibited all throughout the world. He spends his majority painting murals across the world and has produced works in all 6 habitable continents. So here's Gaia's message for us.
Hi, my name is Gaia. I'm a street artist and a muralist based out of Baltimore, Maryland, but I paint a mural on every continent in the world besides Antarctica. We are wandering my city here on Greenmount Avenue with a mural that I painted behind me about 10 years ago, and we're really considering what will be important for the future. I think that the most important quality for us all to take will be the idea of how to be a good neighbor, the concept of neighborliness. In my own work, I have to seek permission prior to making a work within a community, prior to making a painting. And so permission seeking is important for decision makers to really have to be forced to listen, to be truly empathetic, and to share power. That will be extremely important for the future. Furthermore, communicating, empathetically listening, and changing our own ideas and assumptions, and being adjacent to different ideas, different cultures, and different stories is always the best fashion for maintaining that extremely important ethic. So my practice is really about reading and taking so many different stories and narratives that define an environment and a neighborhood and a city, and then weaving them all together into a coherent composition. But beyond that, I get to receive a level of criticism from those who are ultimately going to live with the piece. So I've relinquished a lot of my decision making ultimately to other stakeholders who can help really inform the work and make sure that it's truly resonant. And I think that can be applied to a lot of creative fields and industries across the board. We're so focused on individual expression that we have, make a lot of mistakes and are blind to a lot of our own biases. So asking for permission, being able to listen, and relinquishing power as a decision maker ultimately leads to all sorts of new concepts, ideas, and methods for creativity.
That was wonderful. David, is Gaia a friend of yours? Oh, you're muted, David.
He is a friend. Sorry about that. He is a friend of mine, and he's quiet spoken, as you can see, but he paints big. And I loved what he said. I love what he said about it really being porous, as far as I could tell. It's like, listen to what the community is telling you, take the criticism. And I think sometimes we don't do that as creative people. We like to push it out. I think actually it's a really good message for us today as we do Street Wisdom, which was to allow those influences in. Maybe put the ego, the ego is the part of you that thinks it knows who you are. That's all it is. Maybe allow that to sort of step aside, and so that we can take in new information and get new insight. What do you think?
I agree. This is beautiful. And also, can we make sure I meet him next time you're in America?
Sure. I'll fix that up. Next month, Tina. Tina and I have never met. We're these kind of Zoom buddies, but next month it's hug time.
Yes, and I keep warning David that I have this tendency of awkwardly hugging people a bit too long. All right. I have the pleasure now to hand the mic to the remarkable Amanda, who's part of
and huggable. And
huggable. Yes. Amanda, over to you.
Thanks so much. Hugs to everyone. And good morning. My name is Amanda Anima, as Tina mentioned, and I am one of the community coordinators at Creative Mornings HQ. Whoop, whoop. And it's been a joy so far, just being able to share this beautiful morning with each of you. I especially want to give a big hug to all of our volunteers, regular Creative Mornings volunteers and attendees, as I do see some familiar faces on the call, which is always great. And also a warm welcome to those of you who are new to what we do and what we're about here at Creative Mornings. I'll get to that in just a second. So I myself, I'm based in Brooklyn, and that's where I'm calling in from this morning. It's a peaceful, semi-rainy, semi-sunny, I don't know what the weather is doing kind of day, but it's all good. And I have I'm very excited to be representing our communities at Waking Up this hour. So we have 7 Creative Mornings cities tuning in with us, including Everett. Here's our photo from our Las Vegas chapter, who's also here today. We have Phoenix in the house. We have Portland. We have Seattle and Tucson and Vancouver. So yay, we all made it. Thanks for waking up with us. And you can also see the full list of cities at www.theworldwidewander.com. And if you haven't already, please take some time to rename yourself with your current city, or let us know what city you're joining from in the chat. So go ahead and pop that in the chat. All right. So now I just want to share a little bit about who we are at Creative Mornings and what we're about. So around the world, every month, our incredible team of volunteers work tirelessly to organize the speakers, volunteers, coffee, breakfast, AV, venues, partners, you name it. Whatever it takes to bring their communities together in a really meaningful way and to put on a great community event. And through their hard work and generosity, our chapters host a creative talk once a month, and all of the events are free. And in some cities, you'll have the opportunity to pitch the entire room an idea, or hear a musician, or find fellow collaborators, which is actually personally one of my favorite parts. And the coolest part is you'll be among a diverse group of creative talent from your own community. Not to mention, if you travel, you can make Creative Mornings part of your itinerary. We could actually be hosting an event in the city of your next travel destination. So that's a bit of what you can expect at your next Creative Mornings event in your city. And now that you know a little bit about what we're about, I wanted to personally actually share my experience of finding Creative Mornings, my Creative Morning story, if you will. So it's actually really special to me because I found it in the midst of the pandemic when we were still in lockdown. And I had actually at this time started leading a virtual Bible discussion for creatives over Zoom alongside, well, my now husband, but we were just friends back then, which is like a whole nother story. But we wanted to hold space for creatives to be active in their crafts, you know, to continue to stay connected with their faith, and just really during a challenging time. And this was when I found Creative Mornings. I say that I stumbled upon it, but a dear friend of mine actually sent me a DM of one of their posts, and I was just basically blown away. I had never seen a space where, you know, creatives were like, where people were just empowering creatives in this way. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, I have to be a part of this. How do I sign me up? So thanks to Tina and Kyle, I actually was given the opportunity to join the HQ team a little over a year ago, or almost a year ago, sorry. Whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, and it's truly just been an inspiring journey for me personally as a creative, but also professionally, being able to work alongside like literally some of the most talented people I've ever met. And to have like a community of worldwide friends all around the world. So with that being said, if you don't have a local Creative Mornings chapter, we want to strongly encourage you to start one and to join this wonderful family of creative gatherers around the world. It's actually super easy to do this. So you can go to our website, creativemornings.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and click the Start a Chapter link. And Yeah, also, if you all have a favorite Creative Mornings story or memory to share, feel free to go ahead and pop that in the chat now. So thanks for letting me share. I'm actually going to pass it now back to David and Tina.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful. That's wonderful, Annie. Sorry, Amanda. That's wonderful. Great to hear that. I think one thing I know about the Creative Mornings people is they like to get on with things. Is there anything, and we'll start the workshop imminently. Is there anything we need to tell people? Obviously, it's a workshop, and that means we're going to be walking. We encourage you to walk, put it that way. Some people, if you prefer not to walk or it's raining so hard outside your house as it is in Tina's that you find it difficult to go out, then fine. Although I've done street wisdom in driving rain, and very often afterwards people don't even notice it was raining. After all, nature, rain and weather is just nature's way of reminding us that cities are natural too, right? Maybe should I say something a little bit about street wisdom and then we'll do it? Yeah, why don't we do it that way? So street wisdom.
Say, for those who are tempted to go outside, grab your phone, grab your umbrella if you need one. Start walking, turn your camera outward so you'll see where you're going. And then David, back to you.
Yeah, it's what you may not realize is that when you do that, you're part of this kind of multi-camera, instant, round the world global movie making experience. It's a bit like that film One Day on Earth. We're doing it right here, right now. It's really fantastic. Also for the people watching on YouTube, it's wonderful. See where your imagination leads us. It's really touching. It's really fantastic. So just a little bit about street wisdom, maybe a little bit about what we're about to do. Like the best things in life, I found it, or rather it found me, I think. I've been working a lot with executives in business and who spend a lot of time in those tall steel and glass rectilinear buildings. And I found out actually that if we went out into the street, it was easier for people to just be a bit more human, because there's something about those buildings that mean you have to stick inside your identity. And it made me start thinking that the street was as a kind of space between our identities, a liminal space, where at home you're a certain way, at work you're a certain way, there are expectations, but in the street in a funny way, or outside you're free to be what you want to be. I mean, the other thing is that whatever you do out in the street, very often other people don't see it because they're not looking, they're thinking. So when you're out there in the street and you see other people, you might notice their eyes are often turned inwards because basically people, what they're doing is they're thinking and worrying. They're not really looking. Well, on this experience, we're really going to look. We're going to use not just our eyes, but all of our senses to really turn out and connect with the world around us. Anybody here done mindfulness, a bit of mindfulness work? I'm sure there's loads of mindfulness ninjas. Liz Mola in Los Angeles. Look, she just looks mindful. She just kind of got that inner calm. And that's a wonderful thing. I struggled with mindfulness when I first started doing it because I thought, what they're trying to do is help me stop my mind wandering. And I think with a lot of us creatives, our mind wanders, right? So what this experience is about is a little different. It's about letting your mind wander and following where it takes us, yeah? Imagining there's wisdom in the wander. Anyone here was told at school that wandering was a good idea? Anyone had classes in wandering, or did you? Tina Roth Eisenberg could do better if she stopped wandering in the corridor and got to her classes quicker. Yes. Did anyone ever get prizes at exams by being ambiguous about the answer? No. We were told there's a correct answer, and the quicker you get to it, the better you are. Yeah. When I was a kid, I remember them talking about careers, and careers seemed to be like this straight line into the future. Once you had a career, you went straight from A to B and you were successful. But the word career, if you look it up in the dictionary, means to crash in an uncontrolled manner down a mountainside. So and most of our lives are ziggy-zaggy, right? It's a wibbly-wobbly world out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the wibble, we're going to go with the wobble, and we're going to see what treasure that we can find out there. And to make it valuable to us, not just a theoretical exercise, at the heart of street wisdom is a question. I'll explain how it works in a second, but we'd love you to ask a question. a question you'd value fresh answers to. It could be anything you like, but it needs to have you in it. This is a you time. Yeah, this is wise selfishness time. And this is time where you get to lavish some attention on yourself. So, it could be anything. It could be about work. It could be about next steps. It could be about relationships. It could be whatever it is. But let it be meaningful and let it be about you, so that we get real value out of our time together. Right. So let me just explain what's going to happen. And anybody, there's some pretty sophisticated people on this call. I can just sense it. Even if you haven't got your cameras on, Jada Selner, I sense sophistication leaking through the screen at me, because if you're in Creative Mornings, you are by nature a sophisticated person. So don't be disappointed if Street Wisdom seems super simple. It's that way because we've spent 10 years making it really simple. So it's now in 85 countries around the world because it's simple. Simple in the sense of fundamental, not in the sense of, I hope, trivial. So it's in 3 parts. How many parts? Liz Moeller, how many parts? 3. You see, that's what mindfulness gets you. She's done 12 years of mindfulness. That's why she gets the big bucks. 3 parts. The first part, we're going to tune up our senses. So basically, as we all know, that what we tend to do is just to live this life in this distracting world. We close off things and we select, and that's great. Otherwise, you'd be difficult. But what we're going to do now is reverse that process, open up our senses. So we're picking up the small things, the hidden things, the missed things. We're not just going to be using our eyes as well. These eyes, we over-index on the eyes in this age. We're going to be using all of our senses, touch, smell, our feelings, our tastes, and so on and so forth. And the reason we're doing that is we're logging in to the inexhaustible creative supply that's around us, in the world around us. Yes, that world out there we'd like to think it's not a hostile, inanimate thing. It's your creative buddy. It's like the biggest creative puppy in the world, and it wants to play. So when you log in with the next step, second part, Liz Moeller will tell you there are 3 parts, and the second part is the quest. And in the quest, we're going to ask a question. That's how we get the puppy to play. We ask a question, and you're going to get answers coming from everywhere. And then in the third section is the sharing. We're just going to ask ourselves, what popped out at us? What jumped out? And how might it be an answer to our question? How might it be an answer? Well, the beautiful thing about this is we're playing with creativity. You know what Arthur Koestler said? It's one of those rare, almost unique human experiences, creativity, where the teacher and the pupil reside in the same human being. The teacher and the pupil reside in the same. In other words, we're going to be teaching ourselves. We don't know, and it's a great thing. So, if we're ready, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the 3 tune-ups. And the way we're going to tune up is we're going to go for little wanders, and each about 3 minutes along, and each time I'm going to give you an instruction. Or in fact, Vanessa, I think, is going to give you instruction. And there's Vanessa. Say hi, Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Vanessa. Vanessa, along with Philip and Rachel, who was on the call a little earlier, and our amazing team at Street Wisdom. So thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for doing that. So Vanessa's going to take you through 3 small, short warm-ups, tune-ups that are designed as you wander around to perk up your senses so that you're really logged into the world around you. And then I'll come back and we'll think about the quest, and we'll go off and do a little quest together. And we'll search for answers, and we'll see what the world sends us. Is it clear? Is it good? Just before you do that, those of you who are looking on a screen and perhaps sitting at a laptop, what we'd love you to do is stand up and not look at the screen. There's something about this age, especially post-pandemic, those of us who experienced the pandemic. Did anybody not experience the pandemic? We've got very focused on, if I can't see Liz Moeller, she isn't there, right? We've forgotten we used to have a thing called speech or the telephone. Do you remember? We could close it, and she was there. Yeah, we're going to do the same now. It's good to unhook your eyes because your eyes tend to be a little bit controlling. It's not that they like to think that they're the boss of us, but actually we're going to wake up the whole of our body's intelligence. Vanessa's going to help us do that. Vanessa, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I work with David as a producer for helping him with lots of corporations work around the world. So this is great to see everyone and lots of different faces, lots of different places around the world, and so nice to see all those images of streets, everybody out and about. That's really beautiful. My background actually was in fashion before I met David. And David always comments about, I get very lost in busyness, which is I'm hooked on. And he always notices how I talk very quickly. So I'm going to try and slow down, which is part of what we're going to do in our tune-ups. So just watch out if I start speeding up. But I had a really nice, actually, what inspired me a long time ago about street wisdom was there's a really beautiful story about the founder of Comme des Garçons called Ray Kawakubo. And what happened to her is she would get lost in crazy busyness at the end of a season. And to refresh herself, she would go back to see this ceramicist in her hometown in Japan. And it was never anything new. It was somebody just making very simple shapes, organic, beautiful ceramics. And for her, it was very much kind of coming home. And I think that's what street wisdom is all about. It's about coming home to yourself and getting back into your soul, basically. There's a really beautiful quote from Shakespeare, which is about how your eyes are the window to your soul. And what we're going to do now is by basically washing our eyes, as Ray Kawakubo called it. She has a much better, beautiful Japanese saying, which I won't attempt to quote. By washing our eyes, we're going to be able to connect to our soul. And we do that by getting into our bodies. And so we're going to do that with the first tune-ups that David talked about that come in 3 parts. And basically, they're going to be 3 instructions, which are going to be for about 2 or 3 minutes. And I'll look after the time and let you know when we're going to come back. And we'll put the instruction in the chat, so don't worry if you miss it. And the first tune-up is going to be drawn to what attracts you and notice what doesn't. So be drawn to what attracts you and notice what doesn't. So you're going to wander off and kind of basically feel quite childlike. So you can be drawn to what just pulls your attention. And that could be anything, what you like the look of, the feel of, the smell of. And you can also notice what isn't attracting you as much. And as I said, I'll watch the time, so don't worry. We're going to have about 3 minutes from now. And so, yeah, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so that's 3 minutes up. If everyone's ready to come back. And that was so great. So many beautiful places. I could see, was that Tina out in the streets? The rain must have stopped. And yeah, it looks amazing, incredibly global. So the next tune up, we're going to take the energy that we got from the last one. And this one is really, really simple. It's simply slow, right, down. Slow, right, down. And that's really slowing down everything you can. You're walking, the way your arms and hands move, the way you turn your head, the way you look. Can you even slow down the rate at which your eyes blink, or the way at which you breathe, just as slow as you can? And it might kind of feel a bit weird, I think, to start, like maybe conscious of people watching you. But I think there's always that assurance, which is kind of sad, but people really don't notice as much as you think they do. So look a little weird and walk as slowly as you possibly can. And that is, again, about 3 minutes. And I'll give you a nudge when we're coming back there. See you in 3 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope that was a really nice slow 3 minutes. The next tune-up that we've got, the last tune-up, is see beauty in everything. And in fact, it's not really see as such, it's sense the beauty in everything. It's feeling, noticing, using all the senses. So sense the beauty in everything. And that means everything pretty much, even kind of bits of litter, bit of gum on the sidewalk, some builder's rubbish, whatever it is that you see, we've got to try and find, if you can, the beauty in everything. And there's a little hint with this one that can help, which is about if you can think of the word gratitude and just wallpaper that at the back of your head as you're wandering, and just beam that out as you're wandering along. It will help you see the beauty in everything. And again, we've got about 3 to 4 minutes. So I'll give you a nudge when that time's up. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. That was really incredible. The views that we could see, it was like street wisdom synchronicity of, there was multiple beds of flowers all at the same time. Then we had a kind of street view all at the same time. That was definitely magic of street wisdom, for sure. So thank you.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's these computers may be technology, but I swear you can feel creativity through the screen. It was hotting up, definitely at that point. So just take a moment now to come to stillness. Thank you so much, Fee. Thank you, Vanessa. Did that be really beautifully. I was doing it here in my room in London as you were giving instructions. And it's, you know, it doesn't matter how many times I do this, it just wakes me up in a new way. So you might just want to look into it, just take a moment to notice how you might feel, be sensing things slightly different than a few minutes back, maybe a few more details, maybe a bit more compassionate for the ugly stuff. Maybe there's a little bit more love around, yeah? And essentially what you've done, I like to think of yourself as Vanessa's helped you plug in, log in to an inexhaustible bank of creativity that is the universe. And like I said, it's a puppy that wants to play. So let's give it something, a way of playing with you. And the way we do that is to create some intention. Intentionality changes the system. So what another word for intentionality in this case is a question. So what we'd love to do is bring to mind, take a moment now to bring to mind a question that you'd love fresh answers to. It might even be something you've decided to do or be, and you want to check it. It might be that you're at a kind of crossroads in life. It might be that you've got a fork in the road ahead of you. It might be that there's loads and loads of potential answers for your question. All of that's good. Street Wisdom's perfect for that. The question itself, see if you can make it not too big or too small, and make it personal. This is for you. This is you time, like I said. Yeah. And see if you can frame the question as you would to an 8-year-old. I like to think the universe speaks 8-year-old. So saying things like, return on invested capital, or I need to polish my third chakra. It's fine for us as adults maybe, but see if you can be clear with the street and it'll be clear back with you. Show David ways to be happier now. Show David, you don't have to use my name obviously, but what does David not know that he really needs to know? What could make this year extraordinary? Show me one thing, yeah? See if you can ask a really clear question and you'll get really great answers, yeah? What's going to happen is as you ask the question, we want you to just keep asking, almost like a mantra, keep asking it. And instead of letting your brain decide where you go, let the question act on your body and let your body take your brain for a walk. You ask the question and you sense, oh, my chest wants to turn this way, or my knee is going this way, or my gut says not that way. Allow yourself to be, your intelligence, your embodied intelligence to be active here. And if you're not sure, if you think you're forcing it, just stop. Yeah, and ask again. Ask the question, almost like there's people that do dowsing for water. You're sensing where's the water. It's like the answers are a spring that's waiting for you to discover it, and you just need to sense your way to it, not decide your way to it. That would be beautiful. What will start to happen, very likely, is your sounds will suddenly be significant, pop out at you, or a word, or a colour, or a smell, or a remembered conversation, or you might even bump into a stranger, and if you do, you can always ask them. You'll find that strangers, it's amazing how often they're exactly the right person to ask, yeah? But we want you to think about the environment as full of answers for you and joyfully wishing to play. That environment that sometimes we protect ourselves from is actually now our creative buddy, okay? So we're going to give you, we'd like you to spend the next 20 minutes, and you don't need again to worry about the clock. We'll let you know how the time is going, but in 20 minutes time, we'll do a sharing where we can just discuss between ourselves, share what popped out at us and how might it be an answer to your question. And by the way, the brain, the rational brain, that bit that we developed at school, doesn't always like this exercise, this practice, because it likes to make sense of things. It likes to know what things are. And we're stepping into a world now which is a bit more symbolic, which is a bit more sensed, and you may well be drawn to answers that you don't initially understand, and that's great. Allow yourself not to know. Allow yourself not to know. Allow yourself to be the pupil in the body and not always the teacher. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll see you. Have a wonderful time. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. Let your feet and your body take your brain for a walk. See you then. Bye. And final little instruction or request. We love it when you have, as many of you already do, have your phones, cameras on and pointing out. It gives us a real sense we're walking with you around the world. So if you can turn your camera on and turn it out, we'd love to see where you are. Thank you.
Probando, probando.
Actually, even the whole watching the screens is actually it's actually really beautiful.
Okay, so you're about halfway through the quest now. Just notice if there's anything you haven't tried yet. If there's something you're still curious about. Notice if there are no-goes for you, things that you pass, ways you don't feel you should go, and just test that. Who's saying no? Beautiful. And notice the small things. Sometimes it's the whispers, not the trumpet fanfares, that really make the biggest difference. Beautiful. Keep asking the question and keep listening to the body and seeing what the environment's giving you. Answers are everywhere. You're doing wonderfully, or should I say wonderfully. Just take another couple of minutes. Stay with that quest and just notice how sometimes the best insights come right at the end. So relax into it, slow down, smile, and see what the universe has for you. You brilliant people. Wonderful, wonderful. So why don't we pause the quest there? I say pause because this is your practice now. You can restart the quest whenever you want. You know how to do it. You can do it whenever you want, wherever you want, inside or outside. What we'd love to do now is just to enter the sharing phase, phase 3, before this becomes entirely dog cam. I don't know if you've noticed, but Ashley has been seducing us with her dog. Interesting. I don't know how many others of you bumped into or have taken animals with you, but of course there's a eons long tradition that when you go on a quest the way you are, it's a little bit of a shamanic process you're doing here. And actually animals very often do appear. They've appeared in all the previous walks. We've had birds, and we've had dogs, and we've had more dogs. But they are spirit. You can think of them as guiding forces. And certainly they're using their senses all the time to explore the landscape. Maybe there's stuff that we can be taught. Ashley, I don't know if you can unmute and tell us the name of your spirit guide.
It's Harry Library. Her name is Juju.
Well, there's a thought. Talking about magic, and there's Juju. So there we are. And by the way, other people may have noticed that was what we call a synchronicity. You know, that is the perfect name for a magical dog, right? Others might have noticed on your walks that strangely coincidental things happened. Things that you can't really, acausal coincidences, as Jung would, I think, perhaps call them. So let us consider, let's hear, if you would, and let's see some of what popped out at you. So what we'd love you to do, those of you who can, in the chat column, put down one of the things that popped out at you on this quest. And we might look at how it might be an answer to your question. And if you're not by a computer and it's tricky to do on your mobile, then just turn the camera around again so we can see your lovely face and indicate by winking with your left eye that you are willing to share what popped out at you. And if you don't have your camera on, you can always wave using the wave facility on Zoom. And if none of those things happens, I'm just going to pick you. That's how it is. This is Creative Mornings. We're up for it. Yeah.
David, I just wanted to let you know that given how intimate this group is, people can unmute when they choose to. So we don't have to invite them.
Okay. We all... Sarah has been connecting to nature and nature's beauty. Sarah, Seattle, we saw some of that. We saw the beauty of the stones. And Sarah, it's so great. Would you mind unmuting? Just tell us, maybe take us a little bit into sharp focus on one or two of the things that really jumped out at you, popped out at you.
Definitely. Sorry for being here, but yeah, the beauty of nature, just seeing these stones on the beach, like the line or the tide of the colors that were illuminated when those rocks became wet, and the difference between them, I thought was just like,
it's wonderful. You're so connected with nature, Sarah, particularly the god of the wind, that we're finding it just a little bit difficult to hear. But we can see from your face that you connected, and you connected us with nature. One thing that just struck me when you said that is how often we talk about nature as outside ourselves. And just looking at you now, Sarah, you look like nature. There's something, you look like a natural being, right? You look like you've fallen off the side of an Etruscan jug, to me anyway. And thank you for reminding us that we are nature too. It's really great. And we don't need language for that. I can just really sense that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for the amazing images. Anybody else like to share what popped out at them? And how might it be an answer to your question? I'm tempted to ask Daniel. We go way back.
You can ask me.
Daniel, so lovely to see you. Thank you for rejoining.
Wonderful to see you.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you. So Daniel, lovely to see you. Daniel's a genius, just so you know, everybody. He's a wonderful, gifted artist and convener. But Daniel, you've done this before, but anything pop out at you, and how might it be an answer to your question?
Well, it's I'm kind of at a juncture in life, and where there's possibility of like just trying to continue as it is, or just do some major change. And I was looking around, and the things that drew me the most were both like blossoming and decaying, and seeing both there. And they kind of lean me towards like, oh, it's the new adventure that, is the most compelling, because what I've been hanging on to is might be more the decay, and the new possibilities are the blossoming.
As you're talking, Daniel, the bird is agreeing. We're hearing this.
There have been a number of birds here. There was I pointed the camera at it for a while. There was a songbird chasing a raptor around just to get it away from its nest or something. It was quite amazing. And a bunch of crows, and then most of the spirit animals here, though, like I'm at a place with a bunch of bizarre Egyptian statues. So most of the spirit animals have been in stone, and which also is kind of a, metaphorically, it's like, oh, those old things I was hanging on to they're statues now. And I pointed for a while, there was a sign out, do not climb on the statues. And so, it's like, I've made some statues, but I don't need to climb on them. I could, go make another one.
Yeah, you've made some Oscar statues, I think.
I don't have one myself, but I've been.
You helped. Yeah. You helped.
Yeah.
So what do we Daniel? You're saying far more than what you're saying. A lot more is coming through the screen. What do we love about Daniel's little story, wandering around this Egyptian bird-filled environment? What do you see? And also, in other words, when Daniel talks, how is his journey like your journey? What pings for you when stuff pings for him? Maybe Casey, I could ask you. I know you're at CMHQ, but what pinged for you when Daniel was talking?
Just the presence.
Yeah, Daniel's presence, yeah.
Just the presence.
Yeah, beautiful. And Liz of Los Angeles, California, Mindful Liz. What pinged for you when Daniel was talking? What do you love about his story?
I love how he was explaining about, the birds that are alive and fluttering around and the statues that are more permanent, and that variety of bringing the nature whimsical into the solid. And in my yard, I was sort of impressed by how many fun things I found in my yard. So I was on my quest to have more fun in my life. And when you see, lacrosse sticks on the ground, and then you see these funny little statues with faces on them, and it just reminds me that even in my own home and in my own backyard, if I can't go out on the streets for a walk, I can certainly pause and meditate and see what's in my backyard or my front yard. So
That's beautiful, Liz. And we also love the connection, and Daniel enjoyed that as well. The statue, and what you're making me wonder what we create statues of. And the image I got, Daniel, as you were talking, was of somebody holding on to something. I think you said it was decaying, and I felt like sometimes nature is making a choice for us. We think we're deciding, but in a way, the decay, the change is happening as we hold on to it. I have to say, if I may, because it's actually in the book I wrote, I cite something that happened for Daniel, if I may. Daniel was wondering last time we did this whether he should sell his property or not, and he came across a realtor's, and the sign on the realtor's was "Hang on," and it was like sometimes the universe speaks English to us, or in this case, Chinese.
Yeah.
But thank you, Daniel, and thank you for that. I was enjoying the images also of the dice and things like that. So this is beautiful. Thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share something that popped out at them? You're like people have come back from a quest with treasures to share, and we're really curious, as generations of humans have always been when travelers return. And people are being Liv Bishop just popped into the middle of my screen. Can only mean one thing. Hey, Liv Bishop.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. How
What
are you?
popped out at you, Liv?
Yeah, so I actually ran during this mindful walking meditation, but what I kept asking myself was what happens if I lived without fear? Because right now I just moved to Los Angeles a couple of months ago, and I'm at a crossroads, trying to figure out like the next step in my career and trying to find a community. And a lot of the times I think I can feel overwhelmed with all of that kind of like super close. So I kept getting drawn to hills when I was on my run, because normally I don't go up hills. They seem intimidating. They seem like I get too exhausted going up. But when I did, it felt really good. And I just like, instead of fearing the climb, I just went up and I saw the most beautiful views that I haven't been able to see before. So maybe that means that I need to just give myself a little bit of distance and new perspective, and kind of try and step away from things that have been overwhelming me recently.
Ah, we love that. We had we had somebody kayaking in the last walk, and now we have you guys running, which is fantastic. Who wants to tell Liv what they love about what she just said? Who wants to tell her what they love about her story? Please don't wait to be asked, or I will ask. Okay, Ashley, or maybe Ashley isn't online.
Can I just say one thing?
Of course.
I love a good rule breaker. I love that Liv just like, walking business is not for me. I'm going to run. I love it. It's kayaker last time. Don't ask for permission. Just make it your own. I love that, Liv.
I love that.
Thank you.
What I loved is that it was exactly the opposite of what I expected in the story, because I actually quite fear the hills, and you ran towards the fear in a way. I've just been cycling in Tuscany, which is all, up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, down, down. And what I loved, and again, it's quite mythical, I think, which is, the Sisyphus myth of rolling a stone up a hill. But what you did is you rolled up the hill and then saw beautiful vistas. And that struck me as a really interesting and very archetypal thing that happened there. And any other Los Angelinas got any advice for Liv about having moved to Los Angeles and how to be less fearful? Please put them in the chat.
Thank you.
And Liv, just let me ask you, when you were doing the tune-ups, were you also running during the tune-ups?
Yeah, I actually sadly joined in a little bit late, but I was running a little slower when we had the slower tune-up. And that was actually really nice because normally I'm pretty intense when I like work out or I'm moving, and I think like in both when I work out and I play sports and outside of that, I'm pretty harsh with myself and pretty intense. So being able to just like purposefully slow down lent a lot of relief and also space to think through some stuff. So that was really nice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I'm minded of the fact that, you know, high performance athletes and performers in all, you know, successful performers in all fields have got tend to have a mature relationship with slowness and rest. Yeah, I'm sure you know that and so on. So I was curious about that. The other thing that I'd like us I don't know if anyone else found the slowing down difficult or interesting or a challenge. Very often the slowing down can be tricky, but people have an assumption about slowness, especially in our kind of community, which is slow is better than fast. And I hear it a little bit in Liv's description of herself as intense and a bit hard on herself. And I'd like just to challenge the idea that slow is better than fast. Velocity, it seems to me, the key thing about it is, are you choosing it? There are times when going really fast is a really good idea. And there are times when going really slow. Are you choosing it, or are we going with the other people's, the status quo, as it were? And I think that maybe having the ability to choose what speed you go might be helpful for you, Liv, and for all of us. I, Liv, choose to go slow. I choose to go fast. I choose to go really fast. I choose to go up that hill, and so on and so forth. But thank you for that. Thank you for, thank you for speaking from within the body as well. I mean, that was your physical intelligence talking. It's so great.
Thank you for leading this.
Not at all. Real pleasure. Casey says she felt a bit self-conscious around other people when she was going slow. Anybody else feel a little bit of awkwardness when you're doing these things? And that's also part of one of the buried, you know, principles inside Street Wisdom, which is designed really for the streets. I mean, many of you seem to be in quite nice urban, rural settings, but I think it's still relevant, which is, anybody apart from me on this call ever worry about what people think about them? Yeah, Daniel, you got your hand up, yeah? Sorry, you're a bit muted, but you could draw it. I'm sure you could draw this. Still muted?
There we go.
There we
are. Yeah, it's kind of funny because the I felt the most embarrassed when I went through kind of a secluded path here, and there was a bench there with two young lovers, and I didn't want to point my camera at them. You know, I felt like, oh, here, let's watch that. It's but it also felt it was sweet at the same time, but it was very, very like self-conscious. It's like, oh, I've got my camera on, and I don't know what their little tryst, why they're in such a secluded place. You know, it's like there's many stories that could be going on with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wanted to keep it about my story and not theirs.
Although they're kind of in your story, but yeah, I mean, what's beautiful about what you're saying, Daniel, and I think also Sarah is experiencing this as well. The two Sarahs, maybe. That worry about intruding and the worry about looking odd come, I think, from the same place, which is sensitivity. It's a beautiful thing to be able to imagine what other people may be thinking and to look after that. But consider, we don't know what they're thinking. there's a very good chance that the lovers have no idea that Daniel even exists. What they're really interested in is something else. But all I will say is, and I found this myself, like slowing down, if ever I slow down or do something and feel like, oh, people are going to think, it's worth considering. We don't know what people think unless we talk to them. And even then you don't really know. So very often we are constraining ourselves and keeping ourselves locked in routines maybe because we think other people will think things. But in fact, it's the cop is in our head, as Augusta Boal says. So maybe that's something for all of us, which is it's good to be sensitive, but maybe people aren't paying as much attention to us as we think. And actually, it's us that's holding ourselves in. Yeah. So maybe we could just talk to that part of ourselves that thinks it knows who we are, and release ourselves there, and then we can roam freer. What do you think, Tina?
You're just such a poet. I don't know. I'm just sitting here and thinking, how does he do it?
I don't really do it. I just, it's just so heartening at a time when there's quite a lot of ugliness, and there's quite a lot of, or apparently, if you look at the media, quite a lot of lack of care, that just this consistent love, care, sensitivity, calm, peace, beauty on this walk and in your community and in our community. So it's just a pleasure to be here. And let's do more. Yeah, let's take it out there. Let's include the lovers. Yeah, maybe. It's great.
It reminded me of something I was reading recently about how we often don't talk to strangers because we imagine all the ways it could go badly. And then people have actually done some research about talking to strangers, said that it's like, 99% of the time it actually goes well. And both people enjoy the interaction.
Yeah.
But there's something about our social sense that says, oh, I don't want to intrude, or, oh, maybe they don't want to be bothered, or all of those things. But being open to those connections can create all kinds of wonderful things.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful place to pause there, Daniel, because one thing I'd love us to take away from this is we are the stranger. Imagine, we're on Street Wisdom now, but if tomorrow you consider everyone else is on Street Wisdom, but you're the stranger, how can you be that open stranger that reaffirms people's wilting faith in human nature? It just needs us to do that. What they say is, an enemy is just somebody whose story you haven't heard yet. It's not going to be the politicians that do this. It's not going to be the church, the religious leaders. It's us. The cavalry's not coming. It's us. It's street by street, and it's heart by heart. So thank you, Daniel. You phrased that. I couldn't find a better way to end this, to bring this to a close. And I'm really touched, my friend, that you've reappeared. And let's stay connected.
Yes, let's do.